Hello everybody. Today I'll be doing a hands-on home lab built with VirtualBox on Windows, and it's going to be running two Debian virtual machines configured to simulate a real server slash client infrastructure. It will be covering SSH hardening, configuring the firewall, and user privilege separation, and setting up the internal network. So for this lab, we're going to need VirtualBox and Debian. So go to virtualbox.org/wiki/downloads and you'll be met with this page right here. Click on whichever host you have. I have Windows, so I downloaded this one, and also download the extension pack for it. Now the guest operating system that I'm using will be Debian. So I'll be going to debian.org and then pressing download right here. I already downloaded everything, but you should go to debian.org and download it right here. So after you've downloaded everything, this is a VirtualBox. You'll be going to new and you'll be setting up your virtual machine. So for the first one, we are going to do Debian client. I'm sorry, Debian server. And then we are going to the ISO image right here. And we're going to find the Debian that we installed. All right, it wasn't showing up for a second, but right here we're going to go to our downloads. We're going to go to Debian right here. And then we're going to put that in there, the ISO file. And so we're going to proceed with unattended installation. I'm going to come down here, check everything. Now for this lab, you only need about 2 gigabytes of RAM, but just to speed things up, I'm just going to put it at 4 just to be safe. And my core is at 2. And then for your storage, you should be good around 20 gigabytes, but I'll move mine to about 25 just to be safe. And yeah, make sure all of this is good. Finish. And now we are going to configure the network. So right click on Debian server, go to settings, go to network. Now NAT, this is fine. I'm gonna go to adapter 2. And since we're setting up an internal network, this is what we'll do right here, internal network. And then we're gonna change this name to LabNet. All right. All right. Now we are going to run this virtual machine. All right. We don't need a graphical install, so just proceed with install. Proceed with English, United States, or wherever you're at. American English. Now this is going to detect the network hardware, and it's going to show us two options. We're just going to go with ENP0S3. Just give it a moment right here. All right, so right here we're gonna go with ENP0S3. All right, now, so for our host name, we are going to set it as server. So, boom, continue. We don't need a domain name, so you can just continue in this. Now the password. Put a password that you'll remember. For this demo, I'm just gonna put password 1. Continue. It's gonna ask me to re-enter. I'm gonna continue. Now full name for the user. You can put this as your last name and then lab user. Now username for the account, we're gonna do the same thing, but instead of the last name, we'll just put lab user. Now setting a password for the new user, just gonna set it as the same password that you'll remember. We're on central timing. It's gonna take its time installing everything. So right here, we're gonna go with guided use entire disk. Yep, that's the disk that we made in VirtualBox. I'm gonna continue with that. All files in one partition. Finish partitioning and write changes to disk. Write changes to disk, yes. And right here it says scan extra installation media. We're just gonna go with yes real quick. And it says there's nothing else, so we're just gonna go with no. United States. Now this right here is the package manager. We want to go on deb.debian.org because that's where it's going to install everything from. HTTP proxy, we don't need this, so we're just going to go continue. Now it's asking us to participate in the package usage survey. You can say yes or no, it doesn't really matter. I'd say yes. Now here's the important part. We want to make sure we don't have the desktop environment because we don't need it, nor the GNOME. But right here, we're going to click on SSH server and standard system utilities. Now press tab and continue. Now here it's going to ask you to install the grub bootloader for your primary drive, and we're going to say yes. And we're going to go to /dev/SDA. It's going to request a reboot, so we're just going to reboot the system, and then we'll be in the terminal. Alright, so right here it's asking us to finish the installation, and it's saying please choose continue to reboot. So we're going to press continue, and then it's going to refresh the virtual machine. Boom. And now we're going to go into Debian GNU/Linux. It's going to take a second right here to put us in there. Now we can log in. So we have lab user, then the password that we set. And as you can see, we are officially in. So now what you want to do is clone this virtual machine for your client Debian virtual machine. Here in VirtualBox, we are going to right click and go to clone. Now here's the important part. First, we are going to change this to Debian client, and then full clone, current machine state, that's fine. And right here for the MAC address policy, we're going to do generate new MAC addresses for all network adapters. We want to reinitialize the MAC address because it is critical to not causing any network conflicts. And then we're going to do finish. Now we should be able to get client right here. So now we are going to check everything, especially our network. It's still on internal network labnet. That's perfect. And then we are going to start the Debian client. Okay, so now we're in. We're going to log in as a root user. So first do the login. Now we're going to do su that, and then put the password in that we set. Boom, now we're in root user. Now we're going to do echo client. We're going to put that in etc. host name. And then we're going to do host name client. Boom. So now we changed the host name to client. And now we are going to proceed with configuring our static IP addresses. So now let's start both of our virtual machines. I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to put this right here. Okay. Client on the right side and our server on the left side. We're just going to wait for the server to run. Now we're just going to log in over here, lab user. We're going to do password 1. Okay, should be in. Now we're gonna log in as root. Password 1. Okay, now first we're gonna find our network interface name. So on both of these, we're gonna do IP link show. Now we see right here that our ENP0S3 is up, but our other one is down. And so let's go to this virtual machine, the client virtual machine. Let's do the same thing. Yep, we see on both that it's down. And so on the server, we're going to go back on the server and we're going to do nano, etc. network interfaces. It's going to take us to this screen right here. So what we want to do right here is go to the bottom of the file and we're going to put in auto ENP0S8 and then we're going to do iface ENP0S8 inet static. Now the address we're giving it is 192.168.86.10. And then net mask. It's going to be our net mask. And so we're going to do Control X. We're going to press Y to save and then enter. Set a static IP on the server. Now we are going to go ahead and do the same on this, on the client server. So we're going to do nano, etc. network interfaces. Same thing over here. We're going to do auto NP0S8 iface NP0S8 inet static. We're going to give it an address of 192.168.56. But this time, instead of 0.10, we're going to do 0.20. We want to give it a different address, but the net mask stays the same. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing, Control X, yes, and then we're going to do enter. Boom. So now we have set a static IP on the client and on the server. Now what we're going to do on both virtual machines is system control restart networking. We're just going to restart it with our new configured static IP address. We're going to go on this one as well, do the same thing. Excuse my bad typing. And so boom, it's going to restart this one as well. We're just going to wait for the it's taking its time here to restart. There we go. Okay, so now from the client we're going to ping to see if there's any connection. So we're going to do 192.168.56.10. And as we can see, we're getting a connection. So we're going to do Control C to stop. And then on our server, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do ping 192.168.56.10. We're going to see that we have a connection here. We do get a connection on both virtual machines. So now we are going to proceed to the SSH hardening on the server. So we're going to do nano, etc. SSHD config. Now we are met with this screen right here. So we're going to go to port. We're going to remove this hashtag. We're going to do port 2222 because port 22 is the default and we don't want that. So we're going to go to permit root login. See where that's at right here. Permit root login. And then we're going to change this to no. That's not no. There we go. And then max tries, we're going to put that as 3. Gonna remove the hashtag. Then we're gonna do password authentication. Let me see if I can find it here. Password authentication right here. We're gonna do yes. And so port 2222 avoids the default port 22, which reduces the automated attacks. And disabling root login means attackers can't really brute force root, if that makes sense. And so after we set this up, we're going to apply the changes. So Control X, I'm going to go yes, enter. Boom, we can restart the SSH service. So we're going to do system control restart SSHD. So that restarted it. Now on the client, we're going to generate a key pair. We're going to go SSH key generate ED25519. Now we're going to do lab user client. Now we want to press enter for all of these. Enter, enter, enter. Now it has created a key for us. Now on the client still, we are going to go SSH copy ID P222, our port. I'm going to go lab user at 192.168.56.10. It says, are you sure you want to continue connecting? We're going to go yes. It's going to attempt to log in. It's going to ask for a password. So we're going to put in our password. Okay, boom. Now we have created a private key that's secret and a public key that's shareable. And so let's go back to the server. On the server, open the SSH daemon again. So nano, etc. SSH, SSHD config. And we're going to change the password authentication to no. So password authentication right here, we're going to change it to no. And so when we do this, you're going to notice that, hold on, let's restart it first. Yeah, so now we are going to notice that when we test key-based login on our client, it does not ask for a password because we just changed that. There's no password authentication. So we're going to do exit just to go back. Now it is turn for our firewall setup. So on the server, we're going to go to app install UFW yes. So we're going to install UFW. All right, we're going to do default deny all incoming. So it changes that. And then we're going to allow all outgoing. So what we just did here is that we blocked all inbound connection by default and allowing all outbound, which is a secure starting point. We're going to allow the port. So UFW allow 222 TCP. Boom. So the rules are updated. And now we're going to enable the firewall. So UFW enable. All right, enabled on system startup. There we go. And then we're going to do UFW status bugs. So boom, we see that allow in port, 2222 port. That's our setup for our firewall. Now we're going to move on to user privilege separation. So on the server, we're going to do install sudo. All right, it installed it. Now we're going to give lab user sudo access. So we're going to do user mod capital G sudo lab user. Now this gives the lab user sudo access. The -a capital G flag appends lab user to the sudo group without removing them from other groups. And we're going to create a second user. So we're going to do user add. And then we're going to do bin bash viewer. So we're going to add the viewer. And then we're going to give it a password. I'm just going to do password 1. All right, password updated successfully. Now we're going to verify the difference. So we're going to log in as the lab user and test sudo. Then try the same as viewer. So let's go su lab user. So we're back in lab user instead of root. Now sudo apt update. We're going to see that it works because it requested the password. It updated all the packages. Now we're going to log into viewer. We're in viewer, so we're going to do sudo apt update, and they should not have sudo permissions. Viewer is not in the sudoers file. There you go. So this models a real environment where admins have elevated rights, but standard accounts do not. So that will be it for this lab. Thank you so much, and everybody have a great day.